Terra Book Club. I'm your host, Ryan, and we're doing something a little special today. So, why is this labeled 9.5 even though more chapters have been released? It's because I'm late. I forgot. I made a promise early on that at some point we would bring on a special guest in between to get their thoughts as we continue. So we're starting that. So there'll be a couple of these, probably 3 or 4, where we'll have a 0.5 episode. So if you are listening to this now, starting from the beginning, you would listen to this after you finish the chapter 9 episode. That makes sense. If you're past that point, and this is just for fun, this is extra stuff. You don't need this because nothing of value will be added. So if you skip this, whatever. And if you're here, I'll see you in the next chapters. But without further ado, I want to introduce my guest for today. You know him, Mr. Steal Your Waifu. None of them are safe. Hetch.
Oh, man. Yeah, what a disappointment for the listeners. It's just me.
It's just you. Who could have guessed?
Who'd have thunk it?
Could you imagine someone try to guess something random and just got it wrong? You're like, God damn it.
This is a real reason why we don't live stream anything, because then it's the chat would just be like, is it Necrit?
Is it a jackal? It's a jackal. Jackal?
Jackal? If it wasn't a jackal the first time, why the hell would it be the
next? So I brought Hetch on because obviously we've been going through the book club stuff and I wanted to get his thoughts. He's been listening along and I want to get his thoughts at these junctures because, when we do our story episodes, we always talk about story best told in 3 parts. And would you looky here, this story is written in 3 parts, which works perfectly. So every part will bring him in, give his thoughts, ask him some questions that he's not ready for, and we'll go from there. It'll be a short one, be 10 minutes.
The fact that this is written in 3 parts too just really shows that we do not get enough credit.
Yeah.
I feel like something casual should be written on the book cover somewhere. That's just me. That's just me.
But something that's going to be in this episode as well as housekeeping. We'll do it quickly. You can listen to us everywhere. Contact us at podcastcore@gmail.com. Visit us at podcastcore.com for all of our info. Remember, that's COR. Follow us on any platform that you prefer, and then leave a like and a comment on that platform. We appreciate it, but the easiest way is word of mouth. So tell a friend to talk to a friend in book club.
Hey. Yeah.
All right. So what'd you think? I'm just joking. How prepared were you for mommy military Callista?
You already know the answer. It was not nearly prepared enough.
She's great, right?
I've already commissioned fan art that I will hang proudly on my wall. You actually made the comment, I think, in the first, the first episode, so 0 through 3. I think you made the comment that it's this makes you like Callista better.
Yeah.
Which is just entirely true because she is the part that brings it all down to earth, right?
Yeah.
She's that character, and we already did our lore episode with Callista, so we know how the spirit Callista came to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it is super refreshing how much detail we're getting of what she was like before the Callista we know, because it really it hammers home just that visceral desire for vengeance, right?
Yeah.
Because Callista's great. She's
amazing.
She's just a good human being, and she doesn't deserve to be the spirit of wrath that she's become. And I'd be pissed too.
Yeah, that's actually a great point you bring up is, we know them as the vengeful spirits post Ruination, and to see the humanity of them makes you feel even more for their ultimate end. Well, end, quote unquote, right?
Right.
And yeah, I was surprised then, and it's even reinforced at this point where we are in the book now, of Callista's character, because she is flawed. She is a trust fund kid, but you can see the change in her, her natural change in questioning the environment around her, but also as she continues her adventure, because she's also young.
Right.
watching the environment around her reinforce her suspicions about her heritage,
Yeah.
right?
I like and I like that you reinforce that she's young at this point
Mhm.
because um it was only like brought up once as far as like listening along. But the fact that, she is so young and that as far as like the family lineage, Viego is her senior, like, but not just in position, but also in age. And then like, but she's still the big sister to
Yeah.
little bro as far as like the relationship dynamic. So it's like it makes sense that
Oh,
she.
wait, sorry. Swap, right? Because he's younger, but he's her uncle.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is
yeah.
swapped. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so
I thought
he's younger than her,
okay because I
and
thought
she
they.
technically raised him, but he's her uncle because of sex.
Oh, okay. Because I thought that like she was younger than him.
No. Dude, I mix
Okay.
it up all the time too because it is something that they don't touch on much.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
But
still kind
still,
of
it's your point
like,
still holds.
yeah, because like she's still like she's too young to be
Yep.
raising someone. One,
Exactly.
but also the fact that she has to be like the moral compass to the leader of this nation, that she's also not really on board with everything that the nation's doing.
Yeah.
That forces someone to grow up really fast. So of course, like that speed that she has to grow up because of the nature of her circumstance is what makes her flawed.
Yeah.
Like it totally makes sense. It's good. But like
So
before
what's
I like
yeah.
deep dive on
Yeah.
new best mama, the character I was most surprised that I was really enjoying listening about was Hecarim. Because like with the knowing that Hecarim and Callista were actually betrothed, and then like seeing that dynamic where it really was like the arranged marriage royal bullcrap.
Yeah.
Like seeing that dynamic and seeing how Hecarim acted within the political turmoil within these first chapters was way more in depth than I was like the Hecarim we know doesn't think, right? Like I would not have put like someone with a head on their shoulders
Yeah.
to do this, which of course like you can already get the vibe that like as far as in these first chapters is like I don't know how deep like we're jumping ahead, but like when we get to Ladros after his promotion,
Yeah.
like seeing Hecarim in that, it's like yeah, you get to see like a lot of character there, and he does have a head on his shoulders, despite the fact that he's using it just for his own personal gain.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like a establishment Democrat.
Yeah.
Where, very moderate, not trying to shake up the order, but able to appeal to the populist side of things so that he's likable. Even though Callista, and that clashes with Callista's nature because obviously she's on the more progressive side of thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and that means inherently she's not falling for Hecarim like
Right.
the other girls, right? She's not like the other girls,
Right.
who are swooning at his feet as, oh, he's so popular, he's a great warrior, he's a great politician. It's like, yeah, but if with him in a position of power, nothing's going to change.
Yeah, where it's gonna be the same crap, different toilet.
Yeah.
And then on that note, like it's also a clash of personalities because Callista very much wears her heart on her sleeve. And one of the things that I was not really anticipating, like to learn more about Hecarim, is how well he could kind of hide like his true intentions and emotions. I mean, obviously, as the readers, we don't really get to see like how well it's done because one, it's a prequel, so we know what happens, and then two, we also get a bit more behind what's going on, so it's a lot harder to fool a reader in that sense. But even then, it's like he still is putting his mask on when he needs to put it on, right?
Yeah.
Like he knows how to put on a face, and I wasn't really expecting Hecarim to be like that. I was expecting Hecarim to be, just the jock of the court.
Yeah.
Of like, yeah, no, get me my lance. We're going to war. All right. Done. Easy. Full stop.
So at this point, which one would you say is your favorite character? Is it Callista or Hecarim in these first chapters?
As well, I mean, as far as like the favorite character, it would probably still have to be Callista.
Okay, yeah.
Because like there's
Understandable.
Uh, I mean, we just get more Callista,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of this is more from her perspective. I could just throw the biggest curveball and be like, Ulrich's my favorite. Um, because man, like talking about like getting all this depth of character and figuring out what they were like before the spirits they became. Uh,
Erlich
you know,
Grail.
Erlich Grail is 100% not in that category. Like
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, no, he was like his venging spirit long before his venging spirit became that
Yeah, I
way.
think I mentioned it. I'm not sure if I mentioned it on that episode, but if for our listeners, if you've ever read the book The Blade itself, or that series of it's like two trilogies of books, there is a torturer character in there that is basically Erlich.
Yeah.
Um, don't know if there's inspiration considering this book coming out well after that one. It's by Joe Abercrombie, by the way, if you want to look it up. It's a great series. I recommend it. But you have your Erlich in that series as well, and these types of characters are always fun to mix things up.
Yeah. And I do like that they went the writer did go in this direction with Ulrich because
Mhm.
like, it you can't have everybody, being human.
Yeah,
And like
you got to have some scum, baby.
to get to the point where the ruination happens, somebody needs to be evil, right?
Mhm.
And like, boy, what a better character. Is there a better character than Ulrich to play this role? I don't think so.
Erlich is, and by the way, for at this point, you guys should know it's Thresh. I
Wink,
think
wink, nod,
I
nod.
think there's enough. I even think I mentioned it, so that's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
Um, but nah, he's great, and the way we get so little of him works in his favor in this first part,
Oh, it's so good because
because this is only the beginning of where he has to get to before we get the demonic demon.
yeah. Like, not to mention that, like the lack of information just lets your imagination try to fill in the gaps.
Yeah,
Because like we have like the first time you see him is in the prologue, and then like the next time you brought him up, it was a 15-year gap.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, and you mentioned that it's like, he's locked in catacombs and, going stir crazy, which we see that in mental health patients all the time. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, sure, but 15 years. A lot can happen in 15 years that's more than just I haven't seen the sun.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, people in
and
solitary confinement for a month show signs of degradation in real
yeah,
life, right?
right. And so it's like yeah, like it lets my imagination just start running wild of what happened to him in these
Oh
15 years.
boy. Okay,
And
so favorite plot element. Like what in this first part stood out to you as far as just the way things were set up that was so well done? And that kind of crosses over with like favorite scene, favorite plot element.
My favorite plot element, hands down, is Ladros as a character
Hmm.
and Ladros's effect on just like Callista and the overall political scheme that Viego's building.
Yeah.
Because talking about like these characters and how much I'm enjoying getting to see them from another side. Viego's not on that list. Like Viego is exactly what he was advertised as. Viego, I feel like there's sometimes that like you mentioned like things that he says, and it's like I feel like he just grabbed that straight out of the biography
Yeah.
for Viego, which is totally fine
Yeah.
because what you don't need to do more with Viego, right? This is the reason why all this is happening. So like having Ladros being in there, like getting to learn more about him
The humble
and
giant.
yeah, like instead of just being the giant that tortured me on ladder forever. um
Tortured us. We were in it
tortured
together.
us. We all suffered. um but like so like getting to see a different side of Callista
Mhm.
when around Ladros. Because like even though I'm enjoying Callista's character, like you can't take everything that she says without that grain of salt
Yeah.
because she still is royalty. Um, and Ladros, at the very least, is not royalty, and like he just kind of serves as that, kind of like the ruler that shows you, yeah, no, she's up to code. Like
Yeah.
she's not full of shit.
Yeah.
And so, like Ladros is easily like my favorite element of that. I was very surprised, like I to me, I was very surprised that Ladros would be like, oh, like once he got his promotion, he's like, "Yo, Callista, I'm in love with you."
Yeah.
Like that was actually
So you
surprising to
ate
me
up the
because
rom-com scene?
yeah, it was.
You're all about it?
Uh,
Okay.
oh yeah,
Same.
I actually really liked it because like Callista's character was completely different in that, which kind of
Yep.
shows that it's like they are kindred spirits. They do really like each other. So,
It
like
was
I
it
think
was the first time we got to see her come out of the military Royal Army mindset, or not mindset, but how she carried herself, because she's always
yeah,
around these warrior men, so she tries to be hard, stoic, and at
yeah,
that point it was like, oh, you're a damsel.
she's just
You're-
yeah, she's just a young girl.
yeah,
She's
she's a
just a
young
young girl,
girl.
and Ladros is the only
Butterflies in her tummy.
person. Yeah, Ladros was the only person that got her to act like a
Mhm.
young girl, right?
And
Like
even
so,
him,
I like that.
to see, because he has a soft touch in general. He's a kind guy, and even in that moment he becomes even more softer. He just goes pure teddy bear mode. So to see those two enjoying each other in a moment where she's about to leave, right, and she just got married to his rival, quote unquote, who he has no hope, and he's aware has no hope of competing with in the current economic setup, or social political setup. He has no chance, and accepting that, it's a good scene, man.
It's a very good scene.
Yeah.
I think like the only weak part of that scene is again, prequel thing. And because
Mhm.
I do agree with a point that you made while listening to it. When you were recording, you made a point that like Rogue One is a great movie.
Yeah.
Like you can like the whole prequel effect, you can still have a good story regardless of the fact that you know how it ends.
Mhm.
But for me, the rom-com element doesn't work with the prequel thing because it's like one of the good things about a rom-com is the question of will they or won't they.
Yeah, and we know.
We already know the answer of will they or
Or
won't they.
do we?
Oh,
Uh-huh,
ooh.
uh-huh.
Oh, you dirty man.
Tune in for more episodes. So
Hey.
we can't, as far as the story stuff, I think I'm happy everything is hitting for you like it did for me when I record those episodes. And we can't not talk about the author, because Anthony Reynolds is a part of the main writing team for the MMO. He's going to play a big part in it, and these books we get leading up to it are also going to play a part. So, how is he doing? What do you
I
think?
mean, I'm already really enjoying it. Like this is kind of a spoiler to the listeners out there for future episodes to come. But I got yelled at because I finished these first 3 episodes really fast, and then it was like, no, 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 wait, we got to do it. We got to do it in time. Because like just even listening to these like the book club episodes is really enjoyable.
Thanks, man.
I have already like kind of set aside so that I can like buy the book myself and read it.
Yeah.
So, but obviously I'm gonna wait until we're done recording since I got to play in the
Yeah.
shadows for right now.
Yeah.
So I think he's doing a great job, but he's also like Anthony's really shown that he can pull out the humanity of specifically League of Legends characters. I think right, um, like I could feel like I've met people that act like Callista. I feel like I've met people who act like Hecarim in real life. And that is one of the most beautiful things that you can do with the world that people already love is be able to bring these characters to life. And if he can do that with a book, imagine what he can do given a much larger canvas like an MMO. And dear Lord, I want to know every side quest that man writes, and those are the ones I'm going to make a beeline for because it's good. Like it's just good. So I think he's doing a great job. I can't wait to listen to the next episodes and get the damn book myself and read it. So we got to record these fast, dude.
I'm trying. All right, I'm trying. So to wrap this up, and by the way, I know at the beginning I said, hey, this will be like 10 minutes. I lied. I tend to do that from time to time, especially when it comes to timings.
What, you and I go over time?
But we're going to wrap this up with, at the beginning of every chapter or part, actually, there's a quote that kind of sums up what you're getting into, but you don't know that yet because it's at the beginning of the part. So for part one, I want you to tell me how true was this quote, because you don't know who this is. How different the world might have been had that blade found its mark. From Sentinel Artificer Jendikaya.
Oh.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, that's a heartbreaking quote. I mean, how different would the world have been if Viego got hit?
Yeah.
I mean, for one, we'd have the Blessed Isles instead of the Shadow Isles. I mean, just spitballing here. That's one thing.
That's good enough. That's good enough. So, for y'all who hung out with us today, hanged out. God damn it, fucking South. Thanks for listening, and as always, we'll be back soon with the next book episode. Hetch, I don't have to say it for you this time.
I know. I'll steal it from you this time. Take care, everybody.